Hello, my friends, and welcome to Christine's Kitchen. Today we're going to make bread machine orange bread. So let's go ahead and get started. So you need to take the bucket out of your machine, make sure your paddle is in place, and we're going to start with 1 1/4 cups of milk. So we're going to pour our wet ingredients in first. Next, we're going to put in 1/4 a cup of squeezed orange juice. I took 2 medium-sized oranges. I split them in half, put them on the juicer, measured out 1/4 cup. Make sure there's no pulp in there. If you don't have oranges in the house, you can use store-bought orange juice. So here's my 1/4 cup of orange juice. The next thing you need is about a tablespoon of zest from the orange. You zest the orange before obviously cutting it and putting it into your juicer. I already pre-zested, so I'm going to go ahead and add that. It's about a little bit over a tablespoon. Next, we're going to add butter. So your butter should be at room temperature as well. I always forget to take my butter out, so I go ahead and I put it in the microwave and melt it in a mason jar. I love using a mason jar because it's easy cleanup in the dishwasher. So next, we're going to put in 1/4 cup of sugar. So let's just grab the sugar, move it over, level that out, put that in. Then we're going to do 1/4 teaspoon of salt, which I have right here. That's 1 1/4. After you put in the 1/4 teaspoon of salt, you're going to put in 4 cups of flour. So my favorite flour is the King's Arthur flour. For me, this has got an amazing rise and works every time. So let's go ahead and put in 4 cups of bread flour. I usually just scoop it in there, take the back of a spoon, level it off, and put it in. That's 1. And 4. So before you want to put in your yeast, you want to make sure that all your wet ingredients are covered. So I just usually push the flour around to make sure everything is covered. And then we're going to use 1 3/4 teaspoon of yeast. My favorite yeast is the bread machine instant yeast. It's the rapid rise. So 1 tablespoon. And then 3/4. So 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to go ahead, put this in the bread machine and let it do its magic. All right, let's get this bread baking. So turn on your machine. We're going to program this to white bread, which for me is number 1. You can have light, medium, or dark crust. I choose the medium. We're going to go ahead and change the size of the bread to 2 pounds. And then we're going to go ahead and pop it in the machine. Make sure it's clicked into place. Close your bud, hit start, and it'll be ready in 3.5 hours. I'll be back in a little bit. Well, the house is smelling amazing and our bread is now done. So we're going to go ahead and lift the lid. Remember that this is extremely hot right now, so be careful. Use your hot mitts. And I'm going to hold it from the bottom and pop it out. As you can see, it's got a beautiful brown topping on it. and the paddle stayed in the bucket this time. Sometimes it'll come out on the bottom of the bread, but most of the time for me, it does stay in the bucket. Now that we have the bread out of the bucket, we'll let that cool for a little bit over an hour and it'll be ready to cut. You can use a bread knife or electric knife, whichever works best for you, and then store it in an airtight container. The recipe will be below as well. Thanks for joining, and I'll see you next time.